If there's one lesson I would say we learned in our first half-hour discussion, that is do the work correctly. It'll save you a lot of hassle in the long run. Stay tuned for somebody who's going to talk about it. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Your Little Castle Show. Ryan Schulz in the building. 15 plus years doing this. Started his own company, knew he could do it better. And if you look at the work and the results and the reviews and the BBB and everything he's done, that has been proven to be true. But with that, check out that first half-hour interview. A lot of great information there for somebody who really just shares what it is and how you get it done and the important pieces. He steals some of his tidbits, learn. We're getting the trade secrets from some of our experts here. But with that, one of my favorite questions we're starting off the show here with is, what is the biggest mistake that a homeowner who's building makes when they're getting a project like this put in place?
Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake that we talked about a little bit earlier, but is more of the planning side on the front end.
Okay.
So design and planning. So like understanding the whole scope of work, understand their taste is a big thing. Like that,
Okay.
That's a tough one.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, so you really got to pull that out of them during the process, but you want to make sure that all that stuff's lined up, and because during the process of the actual build, if it's not what they want, then they want to change stuff, and they don't like a lot of times people don't understand that those changes cost a lot of money and a lot of time on the project.
Ties it the way I think we started with the intro was get it done the first time, because so often, yeah, because when you're talking about you have to pull things out, I didn't realize that. We haven't talked about that before. We're over 500 shows we've done now. Half an hour sitting down with somebody, but I don't think we've ever mentioned, yeah, you better get the taste of that particular, the styles they like in particular, because if you're doing something they don't like, planning you talked about, that's right. Where the money's at.
Yeah, if it's a wrong tile and putting tile in and half it's done, I mean putting tile in it's a very expensive cost, and like you want to make sure everything's laid out beforehand.
Tile, roofing, siding, interior, exterior, colors, skylights, you name it.
Right.
If you don't get all those done, boy, people want to make those changes, they do get very expensive. Yeah. So make sure that is one mistake that you do not make. You mentioned this earlier, residential, commercial, you said about 30, 70. And what do you like about each, and what makes each of those a challenge or something that you enjoy?
Yeah, the on the residential side, we're really helping out that homeowner and getting them, their dream project done. It is a lot more emotional on that side piece, because sometimes they're living there, so that's always makes it difficult. So we try to, again, it comes back to the communication piece, because trying to make them feel as comfortable as they can, because like sometimes we're ripping out entire first floor kitchen and everything, they can't use it for the next 4 to 6 months. And when we're doing that stuff, so we have to work with them and making sure they're as comfortable as they can be on that piece.
Yeah, and then commercial, big projects, those are those large ones.
Yep.
Now, it's personal, I guess. You're not working in somebody's house, but you're helping provide for somebody's sustenance. This is their business, right? And how important can that work be?
Yeah, and it's a different piece. It's definitely, there's an emotional piece to it as well. Don't get me wrong. But you're really helping somebody start that business, or you're changing the whole area just because of that one project that you're doing. Like that project that we have out in Crystal City it's a beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful new building. There's an existing one that we're rehabbing, and I can't wait till it's done.
Yeah, when you're putting together buildings for businesses, this is heavy stuff, and you've got I guess it depends on the size of the project, but which takes more time to plan? Are you taking a little longer with commercial, or I guess there's just different. Yep. Depends what you're doing.
Yeah, so commercial does usually take a little bit more planning on the front end. They both have a decent amount, and especially if we're doing a new home construction where we want to make sure everything's laid out on the front end. But yeah, on that commercial, like we're putting in a full commercial kitchen, a teaching kitchen. We're doing the person's apartment in there. We're also doing a community center and a wedding venue. So there's a lot of moving parts on this building.
Oh wow, wedding venue is part of the whole project.
Yep. Yes.
So they'll be able to banquets and the entire
Yep.
post-party celebration and have a wedding. I mean, gosh, and so but they're going to have a residence there too. So you've got everything from
You get everything.
residential to commercial, all built into one commercial project.
Yep. And the owner of that, she's fantastic, and she loves that area, and she wants to make an impact, and she's doing it.
Okay, yeah. Crystal City, if everybody's familiar, just down Highway, is that 55?
Yep,
a little
just
bit
down
south.
55, yeah.
Yeah, we played a little bit of Festus. We played Festus a little bit before. Baseball, back in the day, they beat us, everybody, and that keep us from going to state championship. But I did get scouted there, and that's where my future manager said, "Yeah, we want you." But Festus is a beautiful part of St. Louis. And what's that, 25 minutes, 30 minutes from downtown?
Yeah, it's crazy how much Festus is booming, and yeah, it's great for the area, and yeah, Crystal City now is going to be the next big boom out there.
Okay, right there, Richardson Road, just a little bit further south, and there's the whole L.A. Lower Arnold area. I grew up in Fenton, not too far from there, and yeah, it's booming. St. Charles out west, that down south, and St. Louis is really at it. Let me ask you real quickly, sidetrack, and it ties to this next question, but St. Louis is, as a market for construction, great value here. A lot of times people talk about how the houses, you go out to the East Coast or the West Coast, you're talking 2,000 square foot house is $1 million. Here, 2,000 square foot house is 350.
Yep. Yeah. So there's affordable living here still, which is really nice. And then what's really awesome about St. Louis is we have such different types of construction here. So you got, like Soulard, all brick area. Then you go out into the county and you're seeing more traditional build homes and stuff. So you get that really different, eclectic kind of feel in St. Louis, where you go to some cities and you just have the same type of build. They're just stucco homes in Arizona, and that's it, right? So here we have really unique builds, which it helps us out a lot because we have to know how to do all the different type of remodeling, which we do, and we can get it to the finish line.
Yeah, some of the houses in St. Louis are close to 200 years old, and the old plaster and lath, and your plaster's a lot to work with, but in some of your older homes, you reconstruct that, or do you replace it with drywall but keep the old eclectic? But yeah, you've got some old architecture downtown, and St. Louis has got a wide variance. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's true.
Yeah, we do. We've done a decent amount of historical renovations in the city, trying to bring that back to life. And it's very difficult because you got to try to find stuff that was like how it looked back then. But we got a good team to do that. So.
Yeah, well, the history and a little bit of research these days, the interwebs, so you can get to a lot of that stuff. But yeah, so then the St. Louis market itself, you find it a good place to be a builder because what is the biggest benefit you have? Is it because you get such great value, or is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot of difficult projects because of those old buildings and different things where you need somebody that has pretty advanced knowledge to make sure it's done correctly. So that's where our niche is, and St. Louis fits that niche very, very well for our business.
Yeah, in a city that's very old, so you get a little bit of everything,
right.
But you can build that architecture and go. I'm thinking about when I was a kid, Sportsman Park was not around. Busch Stadium 2, technically.
Right.
I think they renamed Sportsman to Busch and then built a new stadium. But just the difference between Busch 2 and Busch 3, tremendous. It's almost like
Massive.
They went retro back because they had a lot more brick in Busch 3, and now Busch 3 is 21 years old coming up here.
Wow.
And but it still looks great and all that. But the designs of these types of buildings are what is the biggest influence for some of these designs? Are we getting stuff from the French or the Germans, or where's
I think you're spot on with it. Being St. Louis, it's a French name and stuff, and I think we have you got the Hill too, which is you got Italian,
right.
you got a bunch of different types of cultures here, which is great, which you get a lot of different, looks as far as buildings go. And the cool thing about the Grove is the Grove area lets you build kind of a lot different than like Soulard too. So okay. Soulard's all red brick, which is beautiful as well. But then you also on the Grove, they kind of let you, be more, I would say, like artsy in
okay.
it. So if you go down and see some of those buildings, they're just completely different than you would see in a different part of the city.
Yeah, a lot of different color schemes and dynamic neon and all kinds of fun stuff. Like if you go down the Grove, they got the big sign of neon that you go into. We enter there, and there's so much fun stuff you get to see. I realize, if you break it down to French, Italian,
right.
German, and we got mixtures from all over the world, you really get to have a very diverse background here from all the different types of construction that you'll see. Tell me a time, you've obviously been in this for long enough, you've had many times where a client was kind of stuck. If you got a particular situation where somebody either got left with a construction situation, somebody else didn't do the job, or you had to step in, or tell me a time, you talked about that a little bit before, chucking a truck, sorry buddy, but somebody came in and didn't do the job, and you had to step in and say, hey, we'll take over here and fix this.
Yeah, usually it happens I've seen it happen a couple times when they start demo. They'll probably finish demo, and then everything just stops. and then they never hear from them again. They don't know what's going on, nothing, because usually they didn't have their mechanical, electrical, plumbing subs lined up. They didn't have the right people. They didn't have the permits, because usually it gets shut down right then. So we've came in, multiple times where we've looked at these jobs where it's like, hey, we got to go back, talk to the local municipality, Kirkwood, Webster, all over Rock Hill, and we got to, get this back up to, where it needs to be. We might have to do some design changes and stuff, and then we'll get in there and start redoing it and getting it framed up and get all those subs through and making sure you get a finished product.
Yeah, I mean, the codes that they've got, and they range a little bit, but they're all generally got stuff, and those codes are put in place for a reason, so you don't do the wrong type of plumbing or wrong type of electrical work.
Correct.
Could cause a lot of problems for somebody. And how often are you adapting to those codes to say, this isn't, somebody comes here and checks this out, they're going to make you tear it out. That would be worse.
Yeah, it's there's a good thing and bad thing about the way the code's set up in Missouri. So some states are ran by state code, where the whole state is ran the same way. Whatever code it's on, there's a certain year it's on, so everybody knows the same thing. With the St. Louis area, it's actually ran by municipalities, so you actually have to know what's going on in each municipality, and they all have different requirements, and they're all on different code, and all the inspectors are different. So what it does, it creates a kind of a layer of protection for us where we don't have a lot of competition, because it's very tough to navigate. But on the flip side, it is hard sometimes to understand, hey, we do it this way in one area of the city, we do it one way in Kirkwood, but then we go out to Creve Coeur and it's totally different, so it's, and that's one thing good with our project managers, that we're, that they understand that, and they work with the architects to make sure we're doing it right in each area.
Yeah, how often is it then if somebody says, yeah, I want to get exactly like my buddy got done over there in Kirkwood. Well, you're over in Creve Coeur. The codes are different, so then the construction couldn't be done the same way because the codes are different.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you're navigating it correctly. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like, I didn't realize all that, but I know the codes. I'll never forget there was a time I had somebody check me on code, and I'm like, I've got the paperwork right here. He didn't examine it too closely, but he said, okay, you're good. But if you don't have those codes in place, they'll stop your project. And you're saying that's a lot of these guys.
Oh yeah, they'll shut you down real quick. Yep. And then I don't know if they have a list. We've heard that there's this list that you don't ever want to be on. Just being known as a person that's trying to skate around that. So it's always good to just communicate with them and be on the forefront of them, and it makes it a lot easier.
Get somebody who knows what they're doing, everybody. Somebody's got the experience with this and dealing with it. I didn't realize that, because I thought the code was kind of scattered like that across the country. But you're saying some states, nope, they take control of across the state.
Yep.
But in St. Louis, in particular, Missouri.
County, it's like county, and then ours is unique because we have municipalities too. And then you have different things like, so in Kirkwood, they have what's called the Architectural Review Board. So you have to send your project to them, and they have to approve the aesthetic of it first. So there's multiple steps too.
Okay, it's got to look right too, because you can't have some goofy thing on the outside of your house that's going to look different, and the neighbors will be like, what's going on over there at
Correct.
the house?
Yep.
Interesting. Well, tell me the biggest challenge you've had as a business owner. Every day is a challenge, but some of the things that have made your business grow and become stronger that you've gone through.
Over the years, the growth phase, adding a lot of employees and stuff, and finding those right people. Now we're at a stage which is great. We got a lot of good internal people, so that finding those people, finding great carpenters, finding great laborers, finding great superintendents, all that piece of it, we strive, and we're always trying to improve that, but that's definitely been one of the harder things over the years.
Yeah, it's just, there's so much that goes into that literally, if you're not on the ball, but years of experience like yourself. And when did you first start managing projects yourself?
That 2010. 2010 is when I really started getting into it and really understanding the process of construction. So that's when I first started, and I've done almost every different types of projects now. So I've pretty much seen everything, and then we go to projects and look at them, and people think it's pretty overwhelming, which it can be. But when you start lifting up houses and putting additions on and doing all that stuff, like most of the projects are pretty. As long as you understand the cost. The cost is the biggest thing. Once you dial that in, then fixing it's not a problem.
Years of experience will make that easier for you, everybody. You've been through it a few times. I'll never forget the first time I had a server go down, and I was like, let's now get the trial by fire.
Right.
But you've been through the drill a few times. Much more at stake here when you're talking about big construction, big properties, big houses. We're going to take a break here and show you some more of the fun we have in the community. We'll be back. Hey, everybody. We're outside Patios. My new best friend here, Jackson. I knew we'd be good buddies because he's got a cool jersey. Turn around, show everybody. Sure. Hey, I asked, who's your favorite player?
Nado. Hey.
Nado, baby.
All right, now, what do you, a lot of people, come on up here for me a little bit so we get that mic closer, but my videographer, I'm paying him double what I paid the last guy. So, truth is, a lot of people thought maybe the Cardinals weren't going to have it this year. A little surprise. What do you think has made them the team that they are so far?
I think they got a bunch of young guys that are ready to play and keep going, man. I think they got they're enthusiastic. Everybody thinks they were down, and they're just coming out of the woodworks ready to go.
So, a lot of people got a little, there's no superstars besides Nado. They got some talent on this team.
Oh, yeah. Brendan Donovan, youngest guy, one of the youngest guys out there, best player in the league almost, man. He's got
leading the league in hits, I think.
I was about to say, leading in hits, second best in batting average out of everybody in the whole league, I think.
I will add this.
Maybe?
If you had a band, hey, Jackson, have you ever seen Brendan Donovan and Jackson at the same place at the same time?
I gotta grow it out a little bit. I gotta grow it out just a little bit longer, man.
Hey, stay tuned for more, everybody. Giddy up. Patios, everybody.
Yes, sir.
His name is Carter Rathwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rathwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle Show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there is no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com. So there it is. Like we talk about, media has really changed the way the world evolves here. Magnetize your media. Pick up our book here. It's the #1 seller on Amazon. They had me write the introduction, the foreword, if you will. There it is, foreword. And then it's the first. Essentially wrote the first chapter, but they wanted my picture and make some fun out of it. But we could talk about how technology has changed the way the world operates, and somebody's born in that realm and seen the evolution from print and yellow pages and some radio and television, those things for the big guys. But now media has just made it where everybody needs to be out there. Yep. You've got the website, Facebook, BBB, everything, the whole internet. How has the game changed since you've been involved?
Yeah, I mean, big time. You got to be on all platforms, and the reason why is one is just to build credibility, especially with what we're doing, because these customers need to know that we can get this project finished, and we're on all different platforms as far as ads, and we have our CRM system and our project management software and all that stuff set up, and that helps us perform these jobs a lot better.
Yeah, technology has just changed the way. How often has it been within the space that you're in where the actual technology has changed within how you construct and how you build? Is everything now, because it used to be you gotta get your tape measure out, now you got the laser pointer.
Yeah.
How much has that changed?
Yeah, there's a lot of those tools that our team needs, and that we want to make sure that they have them, that we're all doing it properly, because one, it makes them do a better job and a faster job, and a safer job. So that's 3 components that we want to make sure are all happening at the same time.
There you have it. Yeah, and so I'm going to put up a quick blurb. Check out, they do have a great looking Facebook page, everybody. And if you navigate over here, you can see a lot of the work here as well. So are these some of the more recent jobs too?
Yep, some of the more recent ones. We were working on a bunch of different stuff. We did some tenant fit out. There's that big job in Crystal City we're working on. We have additions. That is, we're doing a hair salon right now, build out. Right, they're working on some plumbing. That's the home we worked on with the 2,000 square foot addition, 3,000 square foot remodel. That's out in Crystal City. They had a big parade in front of it. So,
okay.
Yep. We let them, the owner put up the sign for the Go Hornets out there. So it's been great. Yep. That was a little trip that Pella took us on, Pella Windows.
Nice.
So
Okay. So
that was a fun time. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a a good addition on the house, and that's the thing, a big thing in Webster and Kirkwood and different areas like that. These houses, they want to stay in them, but a lot of them were smaller, and they want to just add a little extra room. They actually had a baby during it too.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, they're adding on a whole corner to the house,
right,
and making these places like all kinds of ladders, and wow, there's some big looking rooms after you got there. I'm gonna put that one up on the wall for everybody to see, but. Beautiful work there. Got the double doors and everything.
Yep.
Okay, we'll come back to some of that if we get a little time at the end here. I got a couple questions there for you, but that process we talked about a little bit. But give me some more about how the process actually is. Somebody wants to get started with you, go to the website. Is that the easiest way to get started?
Yeah, go to the website. Our phone number
us.
is on there too. Our office phone number. Just reach out, and one of our business developers will contact you back, and we'll do a quick phone call to understand your project, and then we'll come out and walk the project with you. And we want to see where you're at in the project. Sometimes you have just some stuff written down on a napkin, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes you have some stuff that's already fully designed with architectural drawings, and we can give you a construction budget with that. We can do pre-construction, we can do design, we can do any of those elements to help you get where you're that idea you're trying to do on your project.
Wow, you got some beautiful work there on your website that you guys have put up too. So look, you go across the room here. We've got all kinds of millions of dollars of work that you can check out that Ryan and his team have put together. That really stands out, and it looks dynamite. Gosh, that looks way to go. But the process, once you've got that established and you've got the plans in place, then you say, here's our timeline then, essentially, right?
Yep.
So be communicating with them to get that done.
Yep, it goes from the business developer onto the project manager, and then what they'll do is put a master schedule together with you and make you understand how long this is approximately going to take. But some things can change where weather gets in the way. If we order certain products that you want, that might take longer to get. So we always want to be on top of that piece. Cabinets sometimes can take 6 to 12 weeks. So that's one of the ones on the front end that we want to make sure that we're getting the exact ones you want ordered and before we even start.
Yeah, I know. My buddy of mine, that's what he helps businesses put together is the cabinets. He's a cabinet engineer, if you will, and they got these giant machines to produce these things. But yeah, that's a heck of a project. It's one of the more complicated things people are getting built. So you got to fit together and go into the corners right. And you got the measurements. Every house has got a unique size, and those are something that takes some planning as well.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts behind it, and again, I know I keep reiterating myself, but the planning piece and having a good schedule is by far will determine how well that project goes.
Yeah, well, what do they say? I'll sharpen the blade 7 times to make one cut.
Yep.
Said Abraham Lincoln, because you don't want to mess around with something like this because you make the wrong cut. Now you're redoing a whole room, or you got a joist or something that came out, and you're going to impugn. Then the inspector will be coming through saying, redo it, tear it out. What is the biggest objection that people have? Is it always about price, or how do they?
I mean, price is definitely a proponent of it, just because of how much some of these projects cost. A big one is just believing and understanding that we can get it to the finish line. You know, because like a lot of people have where, you know, the contractors never call them back, they never follow up. You know, it just ends, and then they're stuck with a half-done project, which we never want to put somebody in that situation.
Yeah, you talked about so often they're going. You'll have people about little. They're like, we can't do this project, but you've been known to come in and do projects that a lot of people can't do.
Correct.
And
Yeah, we
you'll
get
them
that
done.
call all the time. Going to look at one tomorrow already. Just somebody, you know, it's actually pretty easy one. Just some structural beams and stuff on there. But that's something we make sure we get a structural engineer to look at it and make sure everything is up to par. Then, you know, we get everything submitted to the local municipality and get the permits approved.
What is it about you and your business that you decided we're going to take on projects that other companies won't tackle? What do you think?
Yeah, I just
you there?
one is enjoyment. You know,
Okay.
kind of seeing a big, you know, that construction piece of it. The other is, you know, we saw a niche there because like there's not a lot of people that want to do that stuff and take the time. And you know, we bid on a lot of projects. You know, we know we're not going to get them all. There's a lot of different reasons why, but you know, we'll keep going out there and meeting with those customers and going after that, just because, you know, there's just not a lot of, we need more of us there. You know, there's just not a lot of what we do.
Yeah, I can imagine there's some people's got something unique and they're saying, not even going to do it. You'll step up and take care of those for people.
Yep.
What gives you the most satisfaction about ultimately at the end of the day that you love about what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's two things. People is one thing. Is, you know, I'm a people person. I like to be around people, and I enjoy company and friends and family. And same, you start building, you know, these homeowners and these commercial projects, these clients, they become your friends because you're with them for the next, it could be anywhere from a couple months to over a year, just to, you know, so you're communicating with these people weekly, and you know, that close tie and seeing their satisfaction at the end of like, man, this is exactly what I wanted, and you know, that piece really drives me. And then also, you know, the employees and building that good team, they're there and they do way more, and like it's just incredible what our employees do now.
Yeah, it's kudos to you for running an organization. It's got so many people, so many moving parts, but developing those relationships and keeping everybody working together to make a successful project for every homeowner wants their project to finish as best possible. And if there's any kind of thing that could go wrong, you're going to make sure to manage it. And personality and the skill set to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
As we finish up here, we've got about 30 seconds left. Tell me, you do have a particular organization you enjoy working with that you support?
Yeah, we're a big fan of. It's called Loaves and Fishes. They help the community a lot. They got a couple different locations here, but they really help people getting back on their feet. They help getting employment. They help with battered women. They have a big golf charity tournament as well. So, you know, we contribute, you know, funds to them, and, you know, reach out to them, and we help with, they do a food bank and everything like that. So they're great.
Great people making a difference in our little planet here, everybody. Look up for Ryan and his organization. And if you're looking to get some work done, Anzac Developments, they can take care of a project for you. Stay tuned for more, everybody. You're watching the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.